During this presentation, I will be discussing the similarities between the arguments in both Chapter 5 and Chapter 7. To be more specific, the sections to which I compare here are guilt and shame from Chapter 5 on page 103, and work and human flourishing from Chapter 7 on page 152. Starting with the section from Chapter 5, I believe the argument in this section highlights the differences between guilt and shame. According to the author, guilt is the fear of punishment, whereas shame is the fear of disappointing others. Looking more deeply into this argument, it can be said that one's desire to avoid guilt is directly caused by or equal to their fear of being punished. The phrase, "You're not sorry you did it, you're sorry you got caught," comes to mind here in relation to guilt. Differently, a desire to avoid shame is caused by one's fear of receiving disapproval from others. These defining qualities between shame and guilt relate to Chapter 7, specifically page 152. The section titled Work and Human Flourishing discusses human motivation to work. Looking more deeply, the author argues that many Americans see work as a self-fulfilling act and therefore believe those that do not work have ample reason to feel guilt or shame. However, the belief that the idle or unemployed should feel guilt suggests that those who do not work should be punished by law. Those who believe that the idle are guilty would support a work regime. Going back to the main connection between these two chapters, I turn to page 152 again. The author suggests that some are motivated to work only because he or she seeks to avoid the disdain of fellow citizens. Even though the author doesn't directly say it here, people in this mindset are motivated to work directly by shame because they only engage in work to avoid the disapproval of others, which is what we learned as the definition of shame in Chapter 5.